time over to him at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, my mic is on. Good morning, everybody. I'm Chad Thompson from Apologetics Press. As he said, their guys are working in the back here. Maybe they can get it going so the PowerPoint can be up here and we'll be able to see some stuff. I hope they can because it'll really make the lesson better. In the meantime, we'll try to do the best we can. I'll try to do the best I can with what we got going here. I know the church here already supports the work at AP and has for several years, and we are very, very grateful for that, grateful to you for that. We couldn't do what we do without supporters like you, so thank you very, very much. I hope to tell you a little bit about the work this morning, and maybe you can see what you're helping to support, and hopefully be real proud of it, learn some things you didn't know, maybe some things that you can use in your life, your everyday life with your families or in evangelism efforts and so forth. I wanted to tell you there's a table in the lobby out there that has some materials on it. It is a small sampling of what we have at AP. I can only bring so much. So on the right side of that table, everything is free. And there's a sheet of paper there that you can put your name and email address on. If you would like to receive a weekly email from Apologetics Press, please sign up there. I'll add you to the system. On the left side, there's some Bibles and some other items. I do have a small price for them, just so you know. Feel free to ask me about it. Of course, everything that we have is in our catalog or on our website. If you're looking for something on the web store, you can find it there. AP is a non-profit, tax-exempt organization dedicated to the defense of New. And we've been doing that for over 45 years. Thanks to the Lord. Excuse me, let me get this going up here. You hear apologetics, and what does that mean? Word apologia, which means to mean we're apologizing for anything. If you're an apologist, you can defend anything. Well, we're defending New Testament Christianity. Where he says to be ready, asks you for a reason that is in you, or give an apologia, a defense there. Now, in first century times, an apologist probably looked a lot different than it does today. I mean, you can be, like I said, an apologist for anything. You could be an apologist for Tennessee football if you wanted to, an apologist for, I don't know, your favorite thing, whatever you can defend. Well, in the first century, an apologist, there was rumors going around that Christians were incestuous because people heard that Brother Johnson and Sister Johnson were married. Christian apologists might have to say, hold on, let me tell you what that's about. Let me explain that to you. There's rumors going around that these Christian people were cannibals because I heard they're eating people's flesh and drinking people's blood. Now, the Christian apologist might say, hold on just a second, that's not the case. Let me end Christianity and tell you what's going on there. The Christian apologist might, to the Roman government, say, hey, do y'all want somebody who will pay their taxes on time? Who will help the poor people on the side of the road? Who will obey the laws of the land and not cause a revolt against the government? All right, these are Christians. That might be the first apologist. Today, AP and we are defending the three pillars of Christianity. The inspiration of the Bible. Can we know that the Bible is from God? Is there proof to show that it is perfect, that it is not just a good book with some good teachings in it, but that is really from God? Absolutely, yes you can. That's part of what we do. That's number one. Number two would be the deity of Christ. Can we know that Jesus Christ is and was the Son of God? And not just a good man, like Mother Teresa, who did a lot of good things on earth, has some good teachings. Can we know that he's God's Son? Absolutely. 100% positive, yes. And that's a lot of what we do. Can we know, number three, that there is a God? Is there proof for God? Or is it a blind faith that we're taking? Hope he's there, but no, there's proof. I feel confident you know that this morning. But we deal largely with those things. Inspiration of the Bible, existence of God, and the deity of Christ. You may have Kyle Butt or Eric Lyons or Jeff Miller, Dave Miller. You might have heard some of those guys speak before, read some of their books. They travel. We all travel all over the place. In 24 last year, we in person in a total of 500, over 310 days in 22 states, multiple times, and in 3 countries. So we are trying our best to defend the faith all over the country and the world. Sadly enough, approximately 30 million people in America do not believe in God. And that is the highest number. 25% of Americans claim to be, all right, stick with me here. 25% of Americans claim to be nuns. Now, I don't mean Catholic nuns, not N-U-N-S. I mean N-O-N-E-S. No religion at all. All right, so that's 1 out of every 4 Americans claims to be no religion. I'm not Christian, I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Hindu, I'm not Muslim, I'm religion. All right, stick with me here. About 40% of 18 to 29-year-olds are nuns. Most of them used to be religious. So these 18 and 29-year-olds, they're religious. They grow up, they get 18, 29, they leave for reasons that we'll look at in just a minute. The statistics are showing that about 6 out of 10 are leaving their religion. The number is about 4 out of 10. Now we might see, right? But it's not good, right? I mean, if we had 100 young people in here and we said 40 of them between the ages of 18 and 29 are going to leave the Lord, well, that's terrible. Trying to do all that we can. And ask yourself, with your kids, this was a physical condition. Let's pretend like 40 out of 100 young people were dying of some physical disease. Well, I mean, we would do everything we could to make that stop, right? We would have our best doctors, scientists, pharmacists, researchers, whatever, on the job to figure out what's going on here and find a cure, medicine, make it stop. But this is what's happening, spiritually speaking, in our young people. And AP has many things that can help our kids to weather the storms of life and remain faithful. So there was a survey that was done by the Pew Research Company, and they asked these people to explain in their own words why they no longer identify with their religious group anymore, okay? These 40% of nuns who are 18 to 29-year-old, and they left their faith for whatever reason. All right, about half of them who were raised lack of belief led them to move away from belief. There's many people who mention science as the reason they don't believe his teachings. Isn't that weird? Because God, science, for some reason, when people get out into the world, into evolution teachings, and they're shattered, and they leave the Lord. One person said, because I grew up and realized Christianity was a story like Santa. Funny. Didn't it? Jesus is not like Santa or the Easter Bunny. Jesus was real. It is real. Somebody said, I realize religion is in complete contradiction. Critical, which of course is totally false. If you God, it no longer understand of the universe. I learned I just the line believe it. We've got to give our young people a faith that is strong, so that they know the answer to every question that is out there every day. They can conquer that. There's a man by the name of Norman Geisler who was giving a seminar at Freed-Hardeman not too long ago, and he's an apologist. And there was a question and answer session after he got done talking, and one of the questions that were asked were, we're losing 4 out of 10 of our young people. And his response was, I think we're waiting until too late in life to teach our kids Christian evidences type material. And so they're doing things when they leave home that they've, and they're like, what? I've never heard that. What do you mean mistakes in the Bible? What do you mean there's not evidence for Jesus? Well, I've never heard that. They go to state school, get an atheistic professor. They're not prepared. I attend their brother there. Our kids' minds with stuff that'll make them stronger. So when they grow up in the world, this happens fairly often, but I had an elder from the Campbell Street Church in Jackson, Tennessee, to call me one time, and I spoke to him Thursday night, and he was actually telling me, he said, Chad, when I was young, I was getting into science and atheistic evolutionary teachings. I was starting to question God. My belief in God was fading. And he said, a friend of mine gave me what was at that time some cassette tapes, some audio tapes from Apologetics Press. And I listened to those tapes, answered every question that I had. And he said, AP saved my faith. Now, we know the Lord works through AP. Anything that we do, the credit and glory goes to the Lord for that. But someone to him had answers to his scientific questions. He saved his faith, his spiritual life. He's an elder today. I got a very similar at Broad Street in Lexington, Tennessee, who works at Freed-Hardeman now. He kind of said the same thing. He said about the same story. Somebody gave me a book from AP, and I read this book and saved my faith. You know, I say that to say all somebody did was give somebody some tapes or give somebody a book. You know, any of us can do that. Do to somebody. You may not sit down and have a 2-hour study with them, but maybe you give them a piece of material, a tract. Maybe tell them about our website. You know, there's a man in California who, this story is unbelievable, and I can't get along, but the short version is, and if I wish I could, you'd be blown away. This man in California, all right, denominational guy, just felt like something was wrong in his life. So he's fasting and praying for the Lord to show him the truth. He comes across the site. He gets on there, is reading material and so forth. He sees that he needs to be baptized for the forgiveness of his sins to be saved. He has never done that. He gets in contact with Kyle Butt. They start talking on the phone. Kyle has a connection out in California, several hours from this guy. That guy drives to meet with this guy. He ends up baptizing him in the ocean. That California guy, Honduras, I believe it was, on a mission trip. If I understand correctly, his wife became a Christian as well. All because he was looking for the truth and found it on AP's website, all the way on the other side of the country. Things like that happen all the time. He told me this story. He was speaking to a youth group in Madison, Alabama, I believe it was. And he asked the kids, he said, there was 86 kids in this class. And he said, how many of y'all know somebody who's an atheist? And he said, so many hands went up that he couldn't count them all. So he said, all right, never mind, put your hands down. How many of y'all don't know an atheist? He said 6. 6 kids out of 86 in Alabama did not know somebody who's an atheist. Our kids are growing up, and grandkids, in a different world than you and I did. I don't think I knew an atheist when I was a kid. Every congregation I go to today, if I talk to the young people and I say, do y'all know somebody who doesn't, who claims there's no God? They all say, most of them say, yeah, I know somebody at school like that. So, again, we got to have them prepared. All right, now I want to tell you, I want to share with you a little bit of what he does. Hey, looks like we might get a post up there. On to something. That's good. Let me tell you a little has to offer. And again, this is not everything, but I just want to hit some highlights, okay? Monthly magazine for kids, middle school level, 4th to 6th grade, give or take. It's a magazine. It's 8 full color. I have some samples out there on the table. It comes once a month. I believe it's $14 for a year subscription. That comes to your house once a month. A great way for your kids and grandkids to get some Christian evidence and stuff instilled in their brain. It's got fun activities in there for them to do. And on Bible archaeology, there's all sorts of topics that we discuss. We had one young man who got his article, his issue of Discovery magazine. It was Andrew, and he was 9 years old. And this particular issue was on abortion. And on a level that kids can understand, kid-friendly level. And Andrew had his Discovery magazine. And as any naive, innocent 9-year-old kid would be, I guess, he was kind of blown away and went to his dad and said, Dad, does this really happen? Is this the truth? He said, yeah, son, I'm sorry, it is.
See you running.
Do what?
See you run.
How do I change? Is there a clicker?
Hold on.
Okay. I can use the Force like on Star Wars, but it ain't working. I don't know. So, gets upset. He goes to the computer. He writes an article in the local paper, which made the paper. It's called Adults Should Speak Out Against Abortion. And I have the article right here. I won't read it all, I'll just sum it up. Basically, Andrew says, I'm 9 years old. I just read an article about abortion. It upsets me that people are able to kill human beings. This should not be so. I need some people to help me stop this. I need some grown-ups to help me stop abortion in our country. So that is just an example of somebody who was educated and took action on what they learned. That's what this is all about. It's Discovery magazine. You get in class, a few slides over. We also have a monthly 8-page journal, not a journal, more like a magazine for adults called Reason and Revelation. Deals with science, Bible, relative topics of the day. Now, what I'm about to tell you about is super off the charts exciting. I hope you take advantage of this. Maybe you've already heard of these things. I don't know. Have y'all heard of or seen yet the Bible trading cards? All right, they just came out. So I know you all know about baseball cards, football cards, maybe Pokemon cards, whatever. People collect cards. So we've got 365 Bible trading cards. I've got some samples out there on the table and some packs you can buy. There's one for every day of the year. There's also some bonus special cards in there. Peter, hopefully it'll get there in a minute. It tells about, it's got his statistics. It tells about where in the Bible you can find him and what he did and so forth. You know, there's one on Lot's, Elisha, the Ethiopian eunuch, Baby, so forth. So the kids have, I'm talking about everywhere these cards, they have been selling so fast. What a great evangelistic tool to use to give to people. Kids love the cards. I've got some kids live down from me, and they run down to my house to get some new cards to add to their collection. They are collecting them, putting in these binders, trying to find the 6 days of creation, 2 Elishas. I'll give you an Elisha for a King David. You want to trade me? It is really awesome. So I wanted to look at those and use those because kids are getting excited about learning Bible characters. And yes, I know we don't know what they look like, but it's no different than reading a book in Bible class. You know, open it up and there's Adam and Eve in the book. We don't know look like that. It's just an idea of what they could look like, and it gives you a mental image to put something with. And kids are really learning the Bible from these cards. Quite amazing. Okay, great. There's an example of him right there. That's kind of what they look like. Y'all got to do it up there. All right. You saw King David. I want to tell you about the trading cards. And I'll tell you more about them later. All right. The Anvil Rings books. About alleged Bible contradictions, but this is a big deal in the atheistic community. Okay, they say the Bible says one thing over here it contradicts itself. So if you Google Bible contradictions, you'll come up with a whole bunch of them. Now, rest at ease, there are no contradictions in the Bible, but the atheist is going to tell you that there are. And so Eric Lyons has written 3 of these books, the Anvil Rings, that deal with these contradictions. For a Bible class, great to strengthen your faith. So you can see, some of them are really simple, some of them are a little more complicated. You got to dig a little bit. But, you know, we had a young man who was active in a congregation, and he went off to a state school and had a professor there who basically belittled anybody who believed in God, believed in the Bible, whatever. And he passed out this sheet of paper who was basically, here's the proof there is no God. Anybody that believes in God is stupid. And because there's all kind of contradictions in the Bible. Here, look at this. So this young man gets this sheet of paper. It's got 80 plus contradictions, alleged contradictions on this sheet of paper. All right, well, this young man says, wow, I never knew this. I mean, this is a guy with a PhD at a state university, smart guy, telling me this. I didn't know there was contradictions in the Bible. I believe in this all my life. He takes this sheet of paper, it's a true story, takes this sheet of paper to his preacher back home and puts it on his desk and says, I don't believe in God anymore. And here's why. The young man just lost his faith, shattered, crushed, gone. The preacher didn't exactly know how to handle it. He called AP for some help. But as far as we know, the young man just left the Lord. Now, isn't that sad? taught like, hey, there's a place called Apologetics Press that's got answers to this? Or what if he had been taught about contradictions when he was younger and how to settle that and that there are none? And so when he saw that list, he could be like, oh, this is garbage. Wad it up, throw it in the trash can. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Next slide, please. We had a lot of people to ask us, can you recommend a study Bible? And we would always basically say no. I think you know why, because at the bottom, the stuff at the bottom is written by men, a lot of times by denominations. So, not really. So we spent like 8 years, all right, 8 years coming up with the AP Christian Evidences in the Faith Study Bible. You can go to the next slide, please. I've got a couple of them out there. There's nothing in the world that I know of that is like the Bible. Number one, there's no denominational stuff in it. AP's website in this Bible. Where else are you going to find science and the Bible go together? Next slide, please. Or what it means to call on the name, or female leadership in the church. What is the role of women in the church? Where are you going to find a Bible that talks about the biblical view of that? Next slide, please. Baptism and the new birth. Next slide. Or the churches of Christ. What is the church in the Bible? Where are you going to find a Bible that talks about that? Next slide. We sent some of these Bibles to India and to Ghana there. I don't know if you can see that quote or not. One person said, this is like a dream. We have seen these Bibles on the internet, but we never imagined we would have one. So that was really, really cool. What a great tool to strengthen your faith. What a list of body. Next slide, please. You can get this Bible electronically, like on your iPad or your tablet, if you want to. But let me tell you this, because this is kind of breaking news. It's just a recent development. If you go on your computer to apologeticspress.org, on the website, at the very front page of the website, up top, you'll see a spot where you can just download our study Bible for free onto your computer. And it's awesome, easy to use format too. It's so cool. Plus it's, the font is big enough where you can read it and so forth. We have a Bible with tabs in it. We're working on a large print version right now. There's this free one. So if you want that Bible on the screen, the Bible that I've got out there, for totally free, you can download it on your computer. Just like that. Next slide, please. And go ahead. So this Bible right here is out on the table. It's on the right side. I have some of those for free. This is the personal carry Bible. It's more of an evangelistic Bible. It's a small version of our study Bible that in the front has reasons to believe in God. In the back has the plan of salvation and information about the church and a little bit of stuff sprinkled in throughout the Bible as well. It's smaller, and these Bibles are only $7 each if you order 30 or more. All right, so they're great for handing out at festivals, to visitors, to put in the back of pews. For many, many reasons you can use this Bible. And like some out there that are for free, you can take that, use them how you want to, on mission trips, whatever the possibility, endless. Next slide. All right, one right there. So on the way, we are working on a children's Bible on the market right now. If you turn in the very front of the book, has the ABCs of salvation, which includes believing in Jesus and saying a prayer to be saved. That's what the kids are being taught. Right? So we are working on a children's Bible right now that will teach the truth. We're hoping to have that out in the next couple of years. I said the big. We're hoping the children's Bible is only going to take a couple of years, but it's a big project. But when it comes out, I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. The P Study Bible translated in the small personal carry Bible I told you about earlier. It's right now being And I think that is going to be huge too. There's, as you can see, lots and lots of Spanish speakers in the world. We recently went to Costa Rica and to Panama. Spanish speakers over there. We didn't have any Bibles to give them. I wish we could have had this. Next time we go, we'll have them. We're very excited about that. Next slide, please. Truth be told is a junior high, taking like a public school junior high textbook and taking out all the atheistic evolutionary teachings in there and dealt with it in the book. All right, and we have sent this book. I've got the old version. This is the updated version right here. But we've sent this book to South Africa and the Philippines and many, many other places. But you're talking about teaching kids about where the universe came from, how life got here, the simple concept that design demands a designer. Evolution is not a proven fact. Did humans evolve? Things like that, and truth be told. You can push the button again. We had a first grader who gave this out to their class. It's not really on a first grade level, but we had this first grader who gave it to their class for Christmas one year. And apparently somebody in the class read it, because next year in second grade, the teacher was teaching evolutionary teachings, and one little kid raised her hand and said, "Ma'am, I've got this book at home called Truth Be Told. Now, we don't want anybody to be disrespectful, but we do want people to stand up for the truth, right? That's another example of education leading to action, but that's the truth. Truth be told, every middle school, junior high kid needs to read that book. You can keep going past that. That's just a look at some books that are being packed up. Keep going. That's some kids with their books. You keep going. There's some kids in the Philippines with some AP materials. All right, you can stop there. Or go to the next one, please. So every year in Oakman, Alabama, for the last, 15, 20 years, we have a camp, but it's not your normal church camp. Evidences to 250 kids all week long on those type of topics right there. Is the Bible reliable? Creation, evolution, contradictions, the flood. Really, really, really think about that. Wouldn't you want your kid or grandkid at a camp where they're being taught by Kyle Butt, Eric Lyons, creation scientists on the reason in God, just strengthening their faith, so when they leave there, they can face the world. I just recently in the church camp, this man talked to us about evolution. For this coming year, I'll be taking honors biology. We'll discuss evolution numerous times. Every lesson this man taught us at camp made me more confident in discussing my beliefs about the falsehood of evolution next year in school. He also passed out pamphlets on science and the age of the earth, the law of biogenesis, and many on the of evolution. I want to thank you for the pamphlet. I can show everything about evolution. That was pretty cool. Next slide, please. Our website, 1 million users and 2.0 views. That's nearly 7,000 articles watched. If you haven't been to our website, please go there. Almost basically everything that we have, you can find for free, totally free on our website. And that's because of people like you who help support what we do. Because obviously you know it's not really free, but it is free because people like you make it free to those who need it. So, audio, articles, Discovery Magazine, you can look at on our website every month if you want to, for totally free. There's a huge wealth of resource there. All right, next slide. You can see the top 10 users of the AP website there. Mexico, Sweden, Nigeria, people from all over the world. If, Gary, tell you the internet. Now you might think, man, the internet is bad, and yeah, there is a lot of bad on the internet. But there's also a lot of good and a lot of people who are on the internet, and the Lord is using the internet. As a matter of fact, next one, yeah. So Rick wrote us this letter. And basically, Rick said, hey, I went to this church because my kid was going to preschool there. And I got to talking to one of the guys there. He said, "Are you a member here?" And I was like, "No, not really." I wasn't really religious, Rick said. I had some problems in my head with religion, and mainly with Genesis, he said. So they get to talking. This guy says, "Have you ever been to apologeticspress.org?" He said, "No, never. I don't know what that is." So Rick says, that night, I went and spent like hours, several hours, downloaded hundreds and hundreds of pages of information off the website. He said, of the stuff that I was being taught from AP. I ended up learning the truth. It took me a few months to process it. He became a Christian, and then he became a preacher. He's got 3 daughters who are faithful Christians. He's a preacher in New York. All because somebody said, "Have you?" Isn't that amazing? That is amazing to me. We have a Spanish website. Next, we have our materials translated into many, many different languages on our website. Next slide, please. We have on our own web, we have a video called 9 Discoveries That Confirm the Bible. That has videos on the channel, Facebook, World Video School, getting thousands and thousands of views, almost 12,000 YouTube subscribers. Slide, please. Just for time's sake, please. You know, I think if I told you that I came here today with an idea of how we could get Bible truth into the hands of thousands and thousands of people, like maybe Bible tracts that taught people the truth, I think everybody in here would probably going to do it. What's the idea? Well, that's kind of what we got going on with our website. Getting Bible in the hands of thousands and thousands of people on the internet. Now, you may or may be on Facebook, may like Facebook, I don't know. But the bottom line is, a lot of people are seeing our material through Facebook. Next slide, please. So we had this idea. I don't know if we got any school teachers in here. Any school teachers? Any former school teachers? What accelerated reader is? AR. You ever heard of that? No. Okay. Accelerated reader. AR. Kids, grandkids probably know about this, I'm guessing. So they read books, and they take a 10-question test on the book, and they get points at school that add up to where they can buy things. All right, so we decided, why don't we do it with the Bible? So we write this website down. It's abrkids.net. It stands for Advanced Bible Reader. Ladders to Leaders has adopted it as part of their program. And basically, a kid can go and read a passage of the Bible, take a 10 on it, points. Every points, they get a certificate, print off. There's a Hall of Fame on there. Your board and the will show their name and how many points they've got, which is really cool. There's a Hall of Fame. When you get to 1,000 points, you're in the Hall of Fame. There's all kind of AP materials in here that you can take tests on. Now, it's totally free. You can use this at home, use it in your Bible classes, here at church, sign your kids up. And, you know, my kids are old now, but when they were little, we would have on the side of the refrigerator the point system. Something like, all right, if you get 50 points, you get a milkshake from Sonic. If you get 100 points, you get this. You get to 150, 200, or whatever. So there's a little incentive there. And we would print off a certificate, hang it on their bedroom door, and they eventually got in the Hall of Fame. And that was so cool. And they read the whole Bible. Thank you, ABR Kids. Totally free. I want you to resource. We got how the Bible is from God. How do you know God is real, which is also in Chinese sources on a middle school. Next slide, please. If you are going to teach your kids and grandkids how to read, they might as well, while they learn to read. Next slide, please. You can stuff for every age level from little bitty all the way up as they grow through to big. You can see there larks and aardvarks, fish, flies, and fleas. Who doesn't want to read? The amazing design of the human body, the amazing animals designed by God, the key is designed by God. So we also have a TV called Digger Doug's Underground. It's on our website or on our YouTube page. You can watch that for free. It's funny. It teaches little kids. It sings songs with them about the Bible. It teaches them Christian evidence and stuff, and they don't realize they're learning. You might think, Digger Doug's Underground. Next slide, please. We'll be going to. All right, we got several types of vacation Bible school. Go through those. That's Noah, Fearless, the Apostles, Operation Creation, Truth Hunters, the Name of Jesus. All right. Dinosaurs Unlimited. You might not know this, but one of the most asked questions that we have at AP is about dinosaurs. Now, you might think, what's the big deal with dinosaurs? Who cares about dinosaurs? It's no big deal to me. But I'm telling you the truth. There are people in the world who have a large problem with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are the post. And people actually lose their faith because. I know that sounds crazy to you, but it's real. So in this book, because the world says, hey, 66 million years ago were dinosaurs, and 7 million years ago, a lot. Well, we all know that's nonsense. We all know that dinosaurs on day 6 of creation. But that's not what our kids are taught. And so this book, one of our best-selling books, not only talks about the design of how God created dinosaurs, but it also shows secular ways that we can know people and dinosaurs lived together at the same time. They weren't separated by millions of years. And if you could show that, you deal a huge punch in the gut to the theory of evolution. Next slide, please. As a matter of fact, those are a couple of junior high books. Look like that deal with topics that are on their level. Time going. Next slide, please. Miller's long class at the Grand Canyon. Phenomenal. It teaches kids all about how God designed the world, and they can actually see stuff hands-on. This deals with the flood, all about it. Next slide. Free Bible class curriculum that is being used. Slide. The world, really. You can keep pushing. You can keep going. We have an app for your phone if you need to have P answers on the go real quick. Pull up the app. Let's keep going. Dave, video and book on Islam is phenomenal. You can go to the next. Somebody in Kenya basically said, we're watching this video over here, and 12 people were baptized because of the video. That's in Kenya, which is. Kyle Butt has done debates, which I highly recommend you watch. It will only strengthen your faith. Next, please. Am I ready to be baptized? You got a kid or grandkid thinking about becoming a Christian? It's a great book to read after they become a Christian. I'm a Christian. What's next? Go ahead and skip that just because of time, please. All right. Always be ready. This book right here, we gave out 10,000 of these at a big youth rally a few years ago. This book deals with things like, is God immoral for killing innocent children? Because, the atheist says he is. This book deals with hard questions like the Bible and women, evil, pain, and suffering. Can God send people to an eternal hell? Questions that our kids and grandkids are being with. Tough questions to answer. Always be ready. You don't have to answer, but you know where to get answers. One more. You see Dorian Flynn is in place. One more. Basically saying thank you for what you do. That's about the end of it. I hope that gives you a broad picture of how the Lord is using AP to do His work all over the world. And I hope you'll think, what can I do with some AP materials? Can I get them in a school here? We have that happen. The principal says, come on, bring some Bibles in here, some dinosaur books, whatever it might be. Some trading cards to some kids somewhere. That all this stuff leads to Jesus. It happens more than you might think. You might think, what's a dinosaur got to do with anybody being saved? But things like that really lead people to looking for Christ. I'll be around. Thank you for your kind attention. If you have any questions, let me know how I can help you. Thank you so much.